Hello guys, this is Terry from Genki Gaming TV coming back at you with the Yokai Watch ShadowSide Episode 8 review. I want to thank Lucas Dimond for the music playing in the background, and let's dive right into the episode. Roomba Rebellion? That's what I would be calling it. But it's AI Rebellion, or like AI Hunlan Rebellion, Mutiny, Uprising. I feel like this episode was kind of a play on words for like the whole Terminator style of situation. But we're gonna dive into things a little bit further here. This episode mainly basically works for Kisuke and his friends. But we do get to see a ton of yokai being used, which means Natsume's skill is really improving, and that this town is just overly bonded with yokai. That there has to be some sort of yokai gate or yokai portal within the town to a certain degree. Literally, I think almost everyone got used besides Koma-san and Charlie. Everyone for the most part. I guess Michi did a thing by looking like a fool. But it's really about Almighty-kun, aka the cute little Roomba. Basically, it seems like the Roomba units are popular enough to have a commercial during the beginning of the episode. And it seems like almost everyone wants these little Roombas. Kisuke's classmate, Misaki-san, has one. And she really loves her little AI Roomba. But the poor little thing is dinged up and has some sort of scratch on top of it. So she fastens a cute little pink ribbon to it. And the voice acting done for the little AI unit is really cute. I know that's a major side note. And we also get some fun with G10 in the episode. It's actually in a couple parts, to be honest. But this episode progresses basically like any other. We get the whole hero cycle build-up thing. We also get to see Benkei, so Toma does things. But for me, it's like the major part of the world building that kind of happened within this episode. The episode itself is probably a B+ or a B episode, because I feel like as a whole, the episode didn't really bring much new to the table, but for world building, it did. We now know that there's this company site within the town that creates the Roombas, and that the company's president was manipulating them to a certain degree. And the energy itself was manipulating them. But the students at Kisuke's school got to go to the AI Almighty-kun factory. I guess factory or company would be a better use. I don't think the episode was specific. I'm just inferring that it's like not a full factory, but it's like a pseudo-factory company thing. But Misaki-san gets very distracted, and the rest of the group moves on, and then she basically wanders through the hall and hears a conversation she shouldn't hear, and then she runs off in fear. And then all of the Roombas, or all of the Almighty-kuns, gather and head towards that particular factory. It's as if they were being called or drawn to the energy there. As you guys know, energy was a big thing in this episode. Michi and Robonyan were both no match for these, but I don't know who Michi is trying to kid. He wasn't even in his ShadowSide form. No wonder dude's being laid out by little Roombas. He's like, I'm gonna defend my Natsume-sama. And then he rushes in, and the Almighty-kuns just swarm him, and he's down. Robonyan put up a really good fight. I really don't understand how power scaling is actually working right now in the series. Because Robonyan is rather strong. We can all agree on that. ShadowSide Robonyan is very tough. And I do understand that he was outnumbered by these Roombas, but power scaling wise, he should at least be on par with them a little bit more instead of just being completely dogpiled by them and them absorbing his energy. I believe that they absorbed some of his energy and Michi's energy when they dogpiled them. I'm not entirely sure, but the Almighty-kuns have like tons of different uses other than cleaning. They were able to dispel like a smoke gas or some tear gas like substance by sucking it in. They were able to do the same with fire. And we saw Azure Dragon use in the episode. He basically absorbed the flames that were blocking the passageway. And then we saw our buddy Lucky, the Dogman, come, and he just smashes through the wall entirely. And they save the group of kids. Misaki hands the Yokai Watch to Kisuke. And then Misaki, not Misaki, but Natsume. I don't know why I just have that little girl on my mind then. Because I'm thinking about the build-up of the episode as I'm just doing the review and how good it was and just some general other thoughts we'll get to here momentarily. But basically, Natsume and Akinori are joined by both Whisper and G-Tan, or Junior, and G-Tan and Whisper go and scare the living snot out of the company president and his little lackey, like to the point that I bet they peed themselves. They were trembling in fear, and they like hauled butt to get out of there. If anything, that shows how powerful Whisper actually is. Whisper may not fight much, but he is rather strong, and I like the fact that he's taking a bigger role to a certain degree in this episode. It really builds him up more than just being a butler. Or a yokai butler. So they find Misaki, and as they're heading out, that tear gas or that toxic gas hits the building. But Almighty-kun, or to be specific, Misaki's Almighty-kun, and the rest of them just suck up the gas as if it's nothing. And then on the way out, fire starts to spread around the building, and they do the same thing. And this causes all of the little Roombas, or the Almighty-kuns, to shut down. And Misaki is in tears running over to her unit. And as she's holding her particular Roomba or AI Almighty-kun, part of the ceiling starts to come down. And all of a sudden, all of the Almighty-kuns reactivate and protect her. And then we see Robonyan 00, aka Robocop. Because he does not look anything like Robonyan that we know before. And it seems like Naoki Mondo is the voice, which is great. Because Mondo-san has been in a lot of really interesting shows like Code Geass and Armed Trooper Votomos. And a lot of Gundam stuff, or at least a couple Gundam things from what I remember. But that's besides the point. And the episode ends on a rather light note. Robonyan 00 or 00 flies off, or 00 flies off with Misaki. And they kids basically return to where they were at originally, back to the clubhouse area. And then we see Haruya looking for Hime. And here's where we get down to why I was referencing Misaki earlier. Could she be the Hime that he's looking for, kind of? I mean, she obviously has a little bit of yokai connection. I really feel like everyone in this town does that's a kid. Because it's stronger when you're a child. Your connection with yokai, according to level 5 lore. But what if the correlation to Hime isn't a who, but is a yokai? I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be Misaki or Natsume or any of the women we've seen thus far. What if everything correlation-wise leads us to an Enma level yokai? Just think a moment. I don't know if there's females of the Enma tribe, or if they're all, like, the same standard male. But let's dive into this further here. If Hime is Misaki, then Fukuro being at the school makes so much sense. Because if you think about it, the school has had several attacks, right? Throughout the episodes we've had up to now. How many times have we really seen Natsume at school? Maybe 3 of those times, and those were mainly to fight yokai. But we've seen Misaki there in class several times. So, maybe this correlation is aimed at her, but I don't think we'll figure out who the Hime is for at least, like, maybe 4 episodes to 5 episodes? Because it's usually after episode 10 that we get our climax episode, where everything starts to go. But we do need Haruya character progression soon, because this episode was like barely a B or a B+ episode. To be honest, if it wasn't for like all of the yokai being used and how like complex things seemed at times within the episode, it may not have even gotten a B on my scale. Series is still good, still very consistent with what all's going on in the yokai world. And that's truly been it for this episode review. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And like always, if you guys know others who like the series, please tell them about it. And please tell them about the reviews as well, because it helps to get more people to be a part of our Ginkian Nation. As always, feel free to comment and like. And you guys have yourselves a wonderful morning, afternoon, and or evening. Bye for now.